protein. And she also mentioned later in that article that there's a 4% increase each year. Life magazine in 1955 promoted the throwaway living lifestyle, which promotes using plastic or styrofoam dishes like bowls and plates and knives and forks and utensils to save people from doing dishes on a daily basis. And it took people a few years, like a few 50 years, to realize that this lifestyle, the throwaway lifestyle, there's actually no way in this, because everything in physics, because there's no way. If you create matter, there's no way you can just destroy it and it's disappearing. So most of you have probably heard about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And this man right here, Charles Moore, discovered it in 1997, and it was from his voyage back to Long Beach from Hawaii, where he discovered it, and he noted that it was 2 times the size of Texas, and it's growing. He also mentioned in an article that plastic comes in every size class and mimics the food for every single trophic level. And for those of you who don't know what trophic levels are, it's it's a producer, and then it goes to primary consumer, then secondary, and then tertiary consumer. So it's basically the food chain, the food web, and all. And I'm sure most of you have already heard about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, but I'm here today to talk about the specific effects on marine life it has. So the formation of the garbage patch is because of the currents and the gyres within each ocean. There are currently 5 notable garbage patches in the oceans, and they're continuously growing each year as the population grows. Most plastics are buoyant because they're so lightweight and the surface area is greater than the actual mass or density it has to pull it down to the bottom of the ocean. So it stays on the surface of the ocean, which means that it's exposed to direct sunlight and air. With this direct sunlight and air presents this scientific process called photodegradation, which is the process of plastic becoming smaller and smaller by the sunlight, which is the total opposite, not opposite, but a different situation from biodegradation. When plastics break down through this process of photodegradation, it turns into microplastics, which are very similar to plankton in the ocean, and it sometimes takes the role of that. According to a report by the United Nations Environmental Program, plastics only break down into smaller and smaller pieces so that they can be consumed by the smallest marine life. When they break down into microplastics, they go through this process called bioaccumulation. What bioaccumulation is, a fish or any animal consumes it, and every time it consumes another plastic, toxins build up in their tissues within that specific animal until it gets either eaten or dies off, and it just biodegrades. And it's similar to biomagnification, which is the process of passing on that toxins when it is eaten by an animal that is higher up on this trophic level. Because trophic levels are the process of passing each energy level throughout the food web. And in a way, plastic acts as a plankton type, or phytoplankton and zooplankton, which are the consumers or the producers of the ocean. And Catherine Gerber says that filter feeders at the bottom of the ocean would be primary consumers and are vital to the higher levels of the food chain. So when it's acting as a plankton, it turns into this, it turns into the consumer, or it turns into the producer, which goes along with the whole process of the food chain. As you see here, this is a sperm whale that washed up to the shores, and after an autopsy, the people that did the autopsy found 100 plastic bags within its bloated stomach, and obviously this is no real benefit to the environment or the whale. It doesn't just affect the sea animals, but it affects the animals that are surrounding the sea, like these birds that inhabit the islands within the Pacific Ocean. As you can see, a bunch of bottle caps, lighters, and just cigarette butts, and every piece of plastic that you can think of is in the stomachs of these birds. But eating these plastics aren't just one of the things that that is destructive to the environment. Animals also get tangled up within the plastic and debris in the ocean, and it also is detrimental to the environment. There's been multiple action plans to prevent all this, and a 21-year-old from Dutch land started this new process by accumulating all this trash, and his name is Boyan Slant. It's a weird pronunciation, and it's a prototype that just was released on February 2nd. And as you may have heard, Governor Jerry Brown passed the plastic bag ban to prevent the plastic bags from being sold to all these convenience stores and marketplaces. And locally, there's been an article released 2 days ago that urges slow residents from using plastic bottles by putting these water filters around the city. Through this presentation, I truly hope you guys all get a better understanding of the effects on marine life it has when we infiltrate all of our waste in its ocean.